Teach 219 recently had students look into the careers that are related to their content. Being a business education student and an avid golfer, I chose to interview a golf professional at one of the courses in town. In my interview with Mr. Andrew, the golf professional at Ironwood Golf Course, I learned in detail about his job and the various forms of literacy needed to hold his position. Mr. Andrew's title is golf professional at Ironwood Golf Course. His job entails overseeing the pro shop, which he owns, overseeing course operations, and giving lessons. The pro shop is essentially a store stocked with various golf apparel, accessories, and equipment. Mr. Andrew must monitor his inventory to meet the supply and demand of customers. Mr. Andrew has explained to me that each year he typically turns a profit on his store. Mr. Andrew also oversees the course operation. The course belongs to the town of Normal. Mr. Andrew is an employee of the town of Normal, and one of his main duties as the head pro is to make sure that the course's daily operations run smooth. These duties include making sure the concession area is fully stocked, keeping track of daily rounds, outings, and events. He is also in charge of making a budget and paying the bills for the course. Mr. Andrew is also in charge of golf instruction. This job involves instructing golf to individual and groups ages 3 and up. Mr. Andrew has various accolades that qualify him to instruct golf. He's a certified PGA professional, has won many tournaments, and has coached multiple collegiate athletes. Many define literacy as the ability to read and write. However, literacy does not only include the ability to read and write, rather is the ability to understand meaning in the form of image, symbol, word, or sound. Based off this qualification of literacy, to be a golf professional, you will need to be literate in 2 different areas, both golf and business. To be literate in golf, an individual would need to have the following understandings: literacy on the game, rules, and etiquette. This includes what to do in certain situations and what is the proper way to play the game. An example of the rules would include if a player hits a shot out of bounds, he or she must hit another shot from the spot of the previous shot and take a 1-stroke penalty. A form of etiquette would be a player that is further from the hole hits the first shot. Understanding the literacy of both rules and etiquette is essential to being a golf professional. Literacy on instructing the proper fundamentals that are necessary for a proper golf swing is essential to being a professional. Although each individual has their own unique swing, there are certain fundamentals that are necessary to be literate on in order to be a successful golf instructor. An example of this would be that an individual needs to connect their hands in some form in order to have proper control over the club. Literacy on the course and the various grasses, maintenance, and proper care is essential to being a golf professional. The reason for this is that as a professional, you are expected to know your course layout, grass types, and how your grounds crew takes care of the course. Literacy in the various forms of golfing games, outing setups, and logistics is also essential to being a golf professional. Examples of these various forms of literacy include knowing what an outing, match, play, scramble, and best ball are. It also requires knowing what the most effective way to set up an outing. Do you want the players to start off on different holes to allow for faster play, known as a shotgun, or do you want them to go off individually in groups, known as tee times? Literacy on these various golfing terms is essential for a career as a golf professional. Literacy in business is another literacy that is essential for becoming a golf professional. Budgeting is one of the forms of literacy that is essential to a career as a golf professional. Craig has to be literate in how to create a budget and what goes into a budget. Each month, Craig is given a certain amount of money that he must budget to make sure he has enough money for employees, supplies, and other expenses that could come up. Accounting terminology is another form of literacy that is essential to a career as a golf professional. Craig must deal with keeping track of who owes the course money, also known as accounts receivable, and who the course owes money to, accounts payable. Keeping accurate accounting records is important to managing finances. Record keeping is another form of literacy that is important to a career as a golf professional. Keeping track of the rounds played, inventory sold, and other records helps in making smart business decisions that can be used to benefit the business. Supply and demand is another form of literacy that is essential to being a golf professional. Supply and demand deals with the amount of commodity, product, or service available and the desire of buyers for it. Considers as factors regulating its price. In a golf professional position, you must be able to have a foundation in this literacy and in the field to understand there is an equilibrium where supply meets demand. This meeting point is where a business profits. Businesses must charge a certain price in order to maximize their profit. If a business charges too much or too little, they will not be reaching their maximum profitability. Entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk in hope of a profit. A golf professional that owns his or her own pro shop is an entrepreneur. Understanding the literacy of this field is important. This includes knowing what the customer wants and finding a way to provide it to them. However, doing this involves risk and is why it is important to understand the various literacies that go into being an entrepreneur. Marketing is another form of literacy that is essential to being a golf professional. Marketing the course, your products, and events is important to bringing in revenue. Without proper marketing strategies, a business cannot maximize its revenue. Customer satisfaction is the last form of literacy that is essential to being a golf professional. The ability to make sure a customer is satisfied even when a problem arises can be difficult. That is why understanding the literacy of reading facial expressions, settling down upset customers, and maintaining a loyal customer base is important. If a college student wanted to enter the career that Mr. Andred is in, they would need to choose one of two paths. The first would be to have a bachelor's in business, economics, parks and recs, or other potentially relatable fields. They would also likely need some background or experience with instructing golf and might need a teaching license. The second option would be to go to the Golf Academy of America, which is a 2-year program that would allow an individual to become familiar with the various operations of the golf course industry. Either route can get an individual started on the track to a career as a golf professional. However, in order to fully achieve the status of a golf professional, a student must be literate in both golf and business. While not every student in my future class may want to be a golf professional, many students might want to run their own business or pursue a career in sports. My interview with Mr. Andred has allowed me to see what the various literacies that are needed for both golf and business that are part of his job are. Knowing this information, I should be able to one day apply this information to my class, connect and motivate students. I can do this by using real-world examples to show students that the information that they are learning connects to the outside world. I can also use examples of students' parents who might also own a business to help relate back to the class. Using real-world examples helps tie the information learned to the learning objective, which will benefit the students, allowing them to connect information to what they know.